We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. What if I told you that by simply understanding how your mind works, you could eliminate brain fog and start thinking with crystal clear confidence? Brain fog can leave us feeling stuck, unproductive, and overwhelmed. Yet, by tapping into Stoic principles, you'll uncover the tools to train your mind, sharpen your focus, and regain control over your thoughts. In this video, we'll explore time-tested techniques that the ancient Stoics used to cut through mental clutter and view challenges with clarity. You'll learn how to build a fortified mindset that not only reduces distractions but also propels you toward meaningful goals. Whether you're juggling work responsibilities, personal projects, or just looking for a way to clear your head, these strategies will help you navigate life with renewed determination. Most importantly, every tip we share will be something you can apply right away. By the end of this video, you'll have a blueprint to silence mental noise and engage with the world more effectively. So, stick around until the very end. This is where the true transformation begins. Let's dive in. Identify and eliminate mental clutter. Imagine you're standing in a room full of scattered papers, half-finished tasks, and unfinished projects. You can't focus on anything because your mind is overwhelmed with all the noise. That's what mental clutter does to you. It hijacks your thoughts and creates a fog that makes it nearly impossible to think clearly. But what if I told you that you could clear that mental clutter and regain the clarity to focus on what really matters? In Stoic philosophy, clarity of thought is essential. The Stoics believed that a calm and disciplined mind is the key to mastering life. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And when your mind is cluttered, it's hard to think quality thoughts, let alone make decisions or act with confidence. The first step in eliminating mental clutter is recognizing it for what it is. The chaos in your mind isn't some random event, it's a collection of unresolved thoughts, distractions, and unnecessary worries. But here's the thing, it's all under your control. You get to choose what stays and what goes. You don't have to carry around mental baggage that weighs you down. The good news is that you can start clearing this clutter right now. Let's dive into how you can do this, step by step. 1. Identify the sources of clutter. The first action you need to take is awareness. What's filling your mind? Is it a constant stream of unproductive thoughts, worries about the future, or things that need to get done but you keep avoiding? Start by taking a few minutes to sit in silence and ask yourself, what's occupying my thoughts right now? You may find that your mind is filled with all sorts of random things that don't really serve you. The Stoics were all about focusing on what you can control, and right now, you need to focus on clearing away the mental noise that distracts you from that. 2. Separate what you can control from what you can't. Once you identify the sources of clutter, it's time to distinguish between what you can control and what you can't. This is a key Stoic practice. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Much of the mental clutter you carry comes from things you can't control: the future, other people's opinions, past mistakes. These things take up valuable space in your mind, but the truth is, they're beyond your control. So, write them down. Create a list of all the things that are causing you mental stress, then circle the ones you can control. The rest? Cross them off. Let go of the need to fix or worry about things that aren't within your power. Focus your energy on what you can influence, and let go of the rest. By practicing this simple exercise, you'll immediately begin to free up mental space. 3. Practice the art of negative visualization. You may be thinking, but what if I miss out on something important or fail to prepare for something I can't control? This is where Stoic practices can be especially powerful. Negative visualization is the Stoic practice of imagining the worst-case scenario, not to make you anxious, but to prepare your mind and accept what may come. By imagining the worst, you remove the fear of it, and in turn, you can clear your mind and refocus on what's important. Imagine yourself facing the worst possible outcome. Can you handle it? Probably. And once you face that fear, your mind becomes clearer because it no longer has to carry the weight of potential worry. 4. Set boundaries for your mind. Another way to clear mental clutter is by setting boundaries, just as you would with people in your life. Stop allowing every distraction to pull you away from what matters most. Your mind is a sacred space. Don't let it be bombarded by unnecessary noise. Set time for deep work and time for rest. Protect your energy. This can be as simple as establishing a daily routine where you have designated moments for focus and reflection. Let those around you know that there are times when you need solitude. Create boundaries between your work and your personal life. The clearer you are about your limits, the easier it becomes to eliminate the clutter that drains you. 5. Practice daily reflection. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect. This doesn't need to be complicated. Ask yourself, what went well today? What could I have done differently? Acknowledge any mental clutter you may have accumulated throughout the day, and release it. Think of your mind like a garden. If you don't regularly clear away the weeds, they will choke the life out of your productivity and peace of mind. Reflecting also allows you to identify patterns. Are you constantly distracted by the same thoughts? Are certain fears recurring? If so, make a note of them and work on addressing them one at a time. By doing this every day, you'll start to create a mental environment that fosters clarity and confidence. 6. Clear your physical space. Don't underestimate the connection between your physical environment and your mental clarity. A cluttered desk or disorganized space can contribute to a cluttered mind. Take a few minutes each day to tidy up. Clear away things that don't serve you. This simple act can help clear the mental fog and give you a sense of control. Remember, your external environment often reflects your internal state. By cleaning up your space, you signal to your mind that it's time to focus. 7. Practice mindfulness. Finally, practice mindfulness. A quiet mind is one that is fully present in the moment. Take time each day to focus on your breath, your thoughts, and the world around you. The more present you are, the less room there is for unnecessary mental clutter. Let go of distractions, and focus on the task at hand. Mindfulness can be as simple as taking 5 minutes to breathe deeply or as structured as a meditation practice. The key is consistency. Clearing your mind isn't a one-time fix, it's a continuous practice. But with each step you take toward eliminating mental clutter, you'll find yourself thinking more clearly, acting with more confidence, and ultimately living a more fulfilling life. As the Stoics would remind you, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Similarly, clarity of mind doesn't come from adding more to your life, but from removing the unnecessary distractions. Clear your mind, and watch how your life transforms. Start today. Practice daily mindfulness and stillness. If you want to eliminate brain fog and unlock a clear, confident mind, you need to start where the Stoics did, inside yourself. Your thoughts, your attention, and your inner peace are what shape your perception of the world. You have more control over these things than you might think. One powerful habit you can develop is the practice of daily mindfulness and stillness. This practice, grounded in Stoic philosophy, isn't just a tool for mental clarity, it's a way of reconnecting with your true self and learning to think with purpose. You may have heard it before, but it's worth repeating. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This quote from Marcus Aurelius captures the essence of mindfulness. It's about knowing that while the world around you can be chaotic, your mind doesn't have to be. And the key to cultivating that inner calm is mindfulness, your ability to be present, to clear away the clutter, and to reconnect with the moment. Start with the breath. It doesn't take a special place or a perfect time to start practicing mindfulness. All you need is your breath. Take a moment right now. Inhale deeply, hold it for a second, and then exhale slowly. Notice how the breath moves in and out of your body. Pay attention to the rhythm. That's it, the simple act of focusing on your breath brings you into the present. The world doesn't matter in this moment, it's just you and your breath. This is the essence of mindfulness, noticing. Noticing where your attention is, noticing how your body feels, noticing the thoughts that come and go. The more you practice, the better you become at directing your focus away from distractions. Your mind starts to calm, and you can begin to think more clearly. Quiet your mind with stillness. Stillness is more than just physical silence, it's about creating an internal space where your thoughts can settle. If you want to build clarity, confidence, and focus, you need to give yourself permission to just be still. In the stillness, your mind clears like water settling after a storm. You might think this is hard, but it's essential. You don't need to push or force anything. Just sit with yourself, breathe, and allow your thoughts to drift by like clouds in the sky. Think of it as training for your mind. When you sit in stillness, you are not retreating from the world, you're sharpening your ability to meet it with clarity and intention. Seneca, a great Stoic philosopher, said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Much of the confusion or overwhelm we feel comes from overthinking and imagining worst-case scenarios. When you practice stillness, you silence the endless chatter of the mind, and you begin to see things as they truly are, not as a distorted version shaped by anxiety and fear. Make time for mindful moments. You don't have to meditate for hours to experience the benefits of mindfulness. In fact, some of the most powerful moments of mindfulness happen in the most ordinary parts of your day. Think about how often you find yourself rushing through tasks without really being present. You could be eating, walking, or even brushing your teeth, but your mind is somewhere else. It's racing, making judgments, thinking about the past, or worrying about the future. This is where you have the opportunity to change the game. When you bring mindfulness into small moments, you build momentum for clarity. Start by setting aside just 5 minutes at the beginning of your day for intentional stillness. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and breathe. When thoughts pop up, acknowledge them without judgment, and gently bring your focus back to your breath. As the day goes on, notice opportunities to pause, when you're drinking water, waiting for the bus, or even standing in line. These short moments are training ground for your mind, and over time, they'll give you the clarity and calmness to face bigger challenges with confidence. The power of acceptance. A huge part of mindfulness is learning to accept what is happening in the present moment. Often, we struggle with brain fog because we resist what's happening. We wish we felt more focused or calm, or we stress over things we can't control. But the Stoics teach us that we don't need to fight against reality. What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about these things, said Epictetus. When you practice mindfulness and stillness, you can detach from the emotional reactions that cloud your thinking. Instead of judging your thoughts or feelings, simply observe them. Watch how your mind reacts to a stressful situation, but don't let it control you. Accept it. This acceptance doesn't mean passivity, it means giving yourself the space to respond intentionally, rather than reacting out of habit or frustration. Turn stillness into confidence. As you get more comfortable with mindfulness, you'll notice something amazing happening. You'll begin to think more clearly. You'll notice how certain thoughts or emotions that once seemed overwhelming don't have the same power over you. With practice, your confidence grows because you begin to trust your ability to be present, think clearly, and act with purpose. The mind is like a muscle, and just like physical training, the more you practice mindfulness and stillness, the stronger your ability to think clearly becomes. This clarity will give you the confidence to face any situation, knowing that your thoughts are in alignment with your values, your intentions, and your goals. Take action today. So, what's your next step? Start by setting aside time for daily mindfulness. If you don't have 5 minutes, start with 1. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Slowly, you'll find that mindfulness becomes your natural state, and from there, you'll move through life with more focus, clarity, and confidence. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Your journey toward eliminating brain fog and embracing clear thinking begins with this simple practice. Start today, and see where it takes you. Establish a structured routine. Establishing a structured routine is like laying the foundation for a solid house. Without it, everything feels chaotic, and the walls of your life start to crumble. But when you have a routine, you build a life that has direction, purpose, and clarity. If you're dealing with brain fog or struggling to think clearly, creating and sticking to a structured routine could be the key to unlocking mental clarity and confidence. You might be thinking, "I don't have time for a strict routine," or "I've tried routines before, and they don't stick." Well, let's change that mindset right now. The truth is, you have the power to create the life you want, and a well-thought-out routine is the roadmap. Imagine waking up every day with a clear sense of purpose, knowing exactly what you need to do, and executing it with confidence. That's what a routine can offer you. It's not about rigidity, it's about consistency and making sure you're aligned with your deeper values. Now, I want to tell you that you don't have to go all in from the get-go. Start small, build up over time, and make adjustments as you go. This is about progress, not perfection. The Stoics were masters of routine. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, would begin each day by reminding himself of his role as an emperor and his duty to others. He didn't let the noise of the world distract him from his purpose. You can do the same. A structured routine gives you the mental clarity to not be pulled in a million different directions. It lets you focus on what truly matters and frees your mind from unnecessary distractions. But what exactly should your routine look like? Start by breaking your day into blocks. Don't worry about having a rigid minute-by-minute schedule. Think in terms of bigger chunks of time: morning, afternoon, and evening. You can get as detailed as you like over time, but for now, aim to fill these blocks with activities that align with your goals and values. If you're waking up each day with a sense of chaos, it's time to make a shift. Start your morning with intention. This is where you can set the tone for the entire day. As you wake up, think of your first moments as an opportunity to take control. Marcus Aurelius believed that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. You want to fill your mind with positive, empowering thoughts first thing in the morning. What you choose to focus on in the first moments of your day shapes the rest of it. Next, build a morning ritual that strengthens your body and mind. Maybe it's a 10-minute stretch or a brief meditation session. Don't overcomplicate it, just commit to something that grounds you. This is where your routine becomes powerful, because in those quiet moments, you set the stage for the day's success. You begin to clear the fog in your mind, making space for clarity and confidence to enter. When you take these moments seriously, you're telling yourself that you matter. You're taking care of yourself, mentally and physically. Once the morning is in place, focus on structuring your work or study time. Instead of randomly bouncing from one task to another, carve out specific blocks of time dedicated to certain activities. The key here is to set boundaries: no distractions, no multitasking. You don't need to finish everything in one go, but you do need to give your full attention to what you're doing. When you focus on one task at a time, you train your mind to stay sharp, clear, and efficient. This is where the Stoic principle of focus on what's in your control becomes incredibly helpful. You're not overwhelmed by what you can't control. You focus on what you can, and that's where your energy goes. Remember, a structured routine isn't just about productivity. It's also about mental peace. By allocating time for rest, relaxation, and reflection, you maintain balance in your life. A routine that works for you allows for breaks, for recharging, and for keeping your mind from getting burnt out. Just as the Stoics would take time to reflect on their actions, take time at the end of your day to evaluate how you've spent it. What went well? What could you improve? Reflection isn't about self-criticism, it's about growth. And here's the thing, routines create freedom. They free you from the mental clutter that often leads to brain fog. They help you make decisions faster because you've already planned your day. When you're clear about your schedule, you stop wasting time deciding what to do next. Every minute is accounted for, and every task has its place. This doesn't mean your routine is set in stone, though. Adjust as needed. The goal is to create a flow, not a prison. Now, to make this stick, create a routine that excites you. Yes, it's that simple. If you're dreading your daily habits, you won't follow through. But if your routine includes things you look forward to, then it becomes something you want to do. Maybe it's a workout that challenges you, or maybe it's a creative activity that ignites your passion. Make sure there's something enjoyable mixed into the structure. Finally, take action. Commit to this new routine. Write it down, commit to it publicly, and hold yourself accountable. Starting is the hardest part, but once you get into the rhythm, it will feel natural. Don't wait for the perfect moment to begin. Start today, even if it's just a small change. Over time, you'll see the powerful impact that structure can have on your clarity and confidence. You are the master of your routine, and through it, you can clear the fog in your mind. So take a step back, evaluate where you are, and create a structure that aligns with your goals. The Stoics knew that discipline leads to freedom. It's time for you to experience that freedom too. Focus on single tasking. In a world filled with distractions, your mind has become like a never-ending whirlwind. One moment you're thinking about your goals, the next you're distracted by a notification, a new thought, or an uncompleted task. This constant shift from one thing to another leaves you feeling mentally exhausted, scattered, and yes, foggy. But what if I told you that you can change all of this, starting with one simple yet powerful practice? That practice is focusing on single tasking. The Stoics believed in the importance of discipline and focus. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to focus on the present moment, saying, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, what often holds you back from progress isn't the tasks in front of you, but your inability to fully engage with them. You're overwhelmed because you're spreading yourself too thin, trying to juggle a million things at once. But here's the truth, you don't need to do everything at once. The secret is focusing on just one thing at a time. When you dedicate yourself to single tasking, you begin to build the mental clarity and confidence to take on whatever comes your way. 1. Understand the power of focus. First things first, you need to realize how powerful focus is. Your brain isn't built to multitask effectively. In fact, when you try to juggle multiple tasks at once, your brain becomes overwhelmed, your productivity drops, and your stress levels rise. The quality of your work decreases, and so does your sense of achievement. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, knew the value of focus. He once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." In other words, you must decide on your goal, your intention, before you act. This decision allows you to channel all your mental energy into what matters right now. The moment you commit to focusing on one thing, the mental fog begins to clear. 2. Eliminate distractions. Now that you've made the decision to focus on one thing, it's time to eliminate distractions. This is crucial because the modern world is full of them. Whether it's your phone buzzing, social media calling your name, or the endless stream of thoughts running through your mind, distractions are the enemy of focus. Here's what you can do right now. When you set aside time to work on something, remove all potential distractions. Turn off your phone. Close unnecessary tabs. Find a quiet space where you can be alone with your thoughts and the task at hand. Create an environment that encourages focus. It's like setting the stage for your mind to perform at its best. Stoic philosophers like Seneca were masters of cutting through the noise. He said, "A man who has committed a mistake and doesn't correct it is committing another mistake." If you're continuously allowing distractions to interrupt you, you're only adding more obstacles to your path. By choosing focus, you give yourself the opportunity to truly address the task at hand, free from the constant pull of distractions. 3. Practice the one thing rule. Now, let's make this practical. It's time to start practicing the one thing rule. This is a simple but powerful way to train your mind to focus. Instead of tackling multiple tasks at once, dedicate your energy to just one task. Complete it before moving on to the next. Ask yourself, what's the most important task I need to focus on right now? Let that task become your sole priority. By concentrating on one thing, you give it the attention it deserves. Whether it's a big project or a small task, single tasking allows you to work with purpose and clarity. By focusing on the present task, you stop your mind from wandering. This is a skill that takes practice, so be kind to yourself as you develop it. The Stoics often emphasize the importance of self-discipline, knowing that true freedom comes from the ability to control your actions and thoughts. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. As you focus on one task, you also begin to discard the unnecessary distractions, those things that take you away from your purpose. 4. Set clear intentions. A powerful technique to help you single task effectively is setting clear intentions for each task. Before you begin, ask yourself, what do I want to achieve here? Set a clear intention for your task, and then channel all your mental energy toward it. Whether you're working on a project, writing an article, or making a decision, having a clear intention allows you to stay on track and avoid the temptation of jumping to something else. This is where a small practice called mental preparation comes in. Before diving into any task, take a few deep breaths, center yourself, and remind yourself of your goal. What is it that you want to accomplish? You'll find that this small habit shifts your mindset and helps you stay present. 5. Implement time blocks. One effective strategy for single tasking is the use of time blocks. By dedicating specific chunks of time to a single task, you create a focused environment where your mind knows exactly what it's supposed to do. For example, you might decide that for the next 30 minutes, you will focus solely on writing or working through a project. During this time, eliminate all distractions and commit yourself fully to the task. Time blocks help train your mind to focus for longer periods. As you practice, you'll find that the more you commit to single tasking, the easier it becomes. Soon, you'll be able to focus on any task, regardless of its complexity or size. 6. Take breaks to recharge. As much as focusing on one task is important, don't forget to give your mind rest. The Stoics often discuss the balance between work and relaxation. Even Marcus Aurelius, during his intense rule, acknowledged the importance of taking time for reflection and restoration. He said, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful than your own soul." By giving yourself breaks between focused sessions, you allow your brain to recharge, making it easier to return to your work with renewed energy and clarity. Remember, your mind is a muscle that needs time to recover in order to perform at its best. Take regular breaks, and be sure to rest when necessary. So, take a step back for a moment and reflect. Are you ready to embrace the power of single tasking? You don't have to do everything at once. In fact, doing so only leads to mental burnout and fog. Focus on one thing at a time, and watch how your clarity, productivity, and confidence soar. The Stoics have shown us the way. Now, it's up to you to follow it. Start today. Consume information mindfully. In today's world, Information is everywhere. It's easy to get lost in the endless stream of articles, podcasts, videos, and social media posts, each vying for your attention. But what if I told you that consuming information mindfully could be your secret weapon for eliminating brain fog and thinking with clarity and confidence? The Stoics believed that how we engage with the world, how we perceive and process information, has a profound impact on our mental state. So, if you want to cultivate a mind that's sharp, focused, and capable of clear thinking, the way you consume information is absolutely crucial. First things first, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. This quote by Marcus Aurelius is a perfect reminder that your mind is shaped by the content you feed it. Every piece of information you take in, whether intentionally or not, influences your thoughts, emotions, and ultimately, your actions. If you're constantly absorbing information without filtering or reflecting on it, you're setting yourself up for overwhelm, confusion, and yes, brain fog. So, what can you do? How do you turn your information consumption into a mindful practice that actually enhances your ability to think clearly? Start by being selective. The first step is to become more selective about the information you allow into your mind. Think of your brain as a garden. You wouldn't plant weeds and expect a beautiful harvest, right? Likewise, you can't fill your mind with irrelevant or negative information and expect to experience clarity or mental growth. Be intentional about what you consume. Ask yourself, does this information support my goals? Does it help me become a better version of myself? Does it align with my values? If the answer is no, then it's time to take a step back. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In this case, you can apply it by consuming fewer, but more meaningful pieces of information. Focus on quality over quantity. Your mental energy is precious, and it's time you started treating it that way. Practice presence while consuming information. Mindfulness isn't just about being present with your thoughts, it's about being present with the information you're taking in. So often, we scroll through social media, listen to podcasts, or watch videos while doing 100 other things. But this divided attention doesn't serve you. In fact, it contributes to that feeling of mental clutter and brain fog. Instead, approach your information consumption with presence. When you're reading an article or watching a video, give it your full attention. Notice how your body feels, how your mind reacts to the content, and what emotions arise. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Inspired? Frustrated? By observing these reactions, you can better understand what is truly valuable to you and what isn't. Remember the words of Epictetus, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You have control over your reaction to the information you consume. So, when you read or watch something, be aware of how it makes you feel. If it brings you peace, great. If it sparks anxiety, consider why. Mindfulness isn't just about being present, it's about being aware of how information impacts your mental and emotional state. Reflect and digest. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Don't just consume information passively. The Stoics valued reflection, taking time to pause and digest what they learned. After you read something or listen to a podcast, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, what did I learn? How does this relate to my life? How can I apply this knowledge to improve my thinking or my actions? Reflection helps you internalize the information, rather than letting it slip by without making a lasting impact. Take notes, journal, or simply sit with the idea for a moment. Write down key takeaways and how you can implement them in your daily life. This kind of mindful engagement doesn't just help eliminate brain fog, it gives you a clear path forward. Limit your consumption. Now, I know this may sound counterintuitive, but sometimes, less is more. We live in an era of information overload. We're constantly bombarded with content that promises to make us smarter, more successful, or more fulfilled. But the truth is, too much information can lead to overwhelm and confusion. You need to create space in your life to let the information you consume sink in and have a real impact. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. That's a lesson from Epictetus that applies to how you approach information consumption. So, start by limiting the amount of content you consume. Set boundaries for yourself. Maybe you decide to check social media for just 20 minutes a day or only listen to podcasts that are directly related to your goals. Find a balance where you're consuming information intentionally, so it enriches your mind, rather than drowning it. Eliminate the noise. You've probably noticed how much noise surrounds you, whether it's social media drama, endless news cycles, or irrelevant ads. All of this distracts you from the clarity you're seeking. One of the most important steps in consuming information mindfully is to eliminate the noise. Consider the advice of Marcus Aurelius: take care that you are not in the habit of turning your thoughts to things which are not worth thinking about. Focus on information that adds value to your life. If something doesn't serve your purpose, gently remove it from your routine. Filter out distractions, and make room for the content that truly enhances your understanding of yourself and the world around you. Practice with intention. Lastly, always consume information with a clear intention in mind. Before you dive into a new article, video, or podcast, ask yourself, what do I hope to learn from this? How will this help me think more clearly or act more confidently? If you approach every piece of content with intention, you're much more likely to process and retain valuable insights. Take action today. Now, it's your turn. Start by evaluating the content you're currently consuming. Is it helping you grow or cluttering your mind? Commit to being more mindful about what you choose to absorb. Take small steps, limit your time on social media, reflect on what you read, and actively seek out content that aligns with your values and goals. By consuming information mindfully, you'll begin to notice a change in your mental clarity and confidence. You'll become more discerning, more focused, and more intentional in how you engage with the world. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So, make sure the information you feed your mind is worthy of your attention. Take the first step today. Set clear priorities and boundaries. Setting clear priorities and boundaries is a game changer when it comes to eliminating brain fog and regaining mental clarity. If you've ever felt like you're juggling too many things at once, or that your mind is constantly spinning with a million different thoughts and tasks, it's likely because you haven't fully defined what matters most to you. And that's okay, most people haven't. But the good news is that you can change this. You have the power to take control, and it starts with setting clear priorities and boundaries. The Stoics were masters at this. They knew that to live a life of focus and clarity, they had to be deliberate about where they placed their energy. Marcus Aurelius, for example, would often remind himself to focus on what was in his control and to disregard everything else. He didn't waste his time or energy on things outside his influence, and he didn't allow distractions to pull him off course. Imagine if you could do the same. What would happen if you could focus only on what truly matters and ignore the rest? You'd free up mental space for clarity, purpose, and confidence. That's what happens when you set clear priorities and boundaries. First, let's talk about priorities. What's truly important to you? What are the top 3 things that, if you focused on them every single day, would move you closer to your goals? Write them down. They might be things like your health, your business, your personal development, or your relationships. Whatever they are, make sure they're aligned with your long-term vision and values. When you know what matters most, everything else becomes secondary. And when you have that kind of focus, your mind naturally clears up. There's no room for distraction because you've already decided what deserves your attention. The Stoics had a simple yet powerful way of setting priorities. They would start each day by considering their role in life and the tasks they needed to accomplish. They didn't overwhelm themselves with endless to-do lists or get distracted by things that weren't essential. They were intentional about how they spent their time. By doing this, they were able to focus on what truly mattered and get the results they wanted. You can do the same. When you wake up each day, ask yourself, what is the most important thing I need to accomplish today? Then focus on that one thing with all your energy. Now, boundaries. These are just as important as priorities. Without boundaries, you'll constantly be pulled in every direction. You'll be saying yes to things you don't really want to do, and your time and energy will be stretched thin. But when you set clear boundaries, you create space for what truly matters. This is your time, your life, your focus. And you have the right to protect it. Think about the things or people that drain your energy. What are the distractions or obligations that take away from your priorities? These are the areas where you need to set boundaries. A boundary is like a protective barrier around your time and energy. It's a clear line that you draw to ensure that nothing gets in the way of your most important work. Boundaries can be as simple as saying no to a social invitation when you're deep into a project or choosing not to check your phone every 5 minutes. You need to decide what's non-negotiable in your life. What are you willing to tolerate, and what are you not? When you make these decisions, your mind will feel lighter because it no longer has to carry the weight of unnecessary distractions. But let's not stop there. Setting boundaries doesn't just mean saying no to external distractions, it also means saying no to yourself at times. This is where self-discipline comes into play. The Stoics were all about mastering themselves. They understood that true freedom came from within, and part of that freedom came from the ability to say no to impulses and distractions. If you're serious about eliminating brain fog, you need to practice the art of self-control. When your mind tells you to check social media or waste time on something meaningless, you need to be strong enough to say no and stay focused on what truly matters. You've got this. Now, let's put this into practice. Start by defining your top priorities. What are the 3 most important things in your life right now? Write them down, and look at them every morning. Let them guide your actions for the day. Once you've got your priorities in place, think about the boundaries you need to set to protect your time and energy. What's currently draining you? Where can you draw the line? Set those boundaries, and be firm about enforcing them. You don't need to be harsh or rigid, but you do need to be consistent. Protect your time the same way you protect something valuable. Your focus, your energy, and your mental clarity are precious, and you deserve to guard them fiercely. When you make your priorities clear and set firm boundaries, you'll notice something amazing happen. Your brain fog will begin to lift, and you'll start thinking with more confidence and clarity. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The same is true for your mind. The less you clutter it with unnecessary tasks, distractions, and obligations, the more mental clarity you'll have. And when you have mental clarity, you have the power to take action, make decisions, and move forward with confidence. It's time to take control. Start today. Set your priorities, establish your boundaries, and watch as your life becomes clearer, simpler, and more focused. You've got everything you need to succeed, just focus on what truly matters. Engage in physical exercise. You've probably heard it 1,000 times before, exercise is good for you. But let me ask you, how often do you really internalize what that means for your mind, not just your body? It's easy to see the benefits of physical exercise on your physique, but its impact on your mental clarity and overall well-being is just as profound. If you're struggling with brain fog or lack of focus, engaging in regular physical exercise isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a must. And when you tie this habit to Stoic philosophy, you'll understand why it's such a powerful tool for gaining control over your thoughts and emotions. The Stoics understood something fundamental about the mind-body connection. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the importance of maintaining the health of the body in service to the mind. He said, "Take care to be in good condition. Do not neglect yourself. For you are doing a great deal, and if you are not in good condition, you cannot accomplish it." What he was really saying is simple: to achieve mental clarity and confidence, you must first take care of your body. Exercise is your gateway to that. 1. Exercise clears mental clutter. Let's face it, brain fog often creeps in when you're overworked, stressed, or emotionally drained. Your mind becomes cluttered, filled with a mix of worries, regrets, and distractions. But exercise has this magical ability to cut through the fog and give you a fresh perspective. When you engage in physical activity, whether it's a quick walk, a jog, or an intense workout, your body releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that naturally boost your mood and focus. As a result, your mind becomes clearer, calmer, and more capable of focusing on the task at hand. It's as if the mental clutter you've been carrying simply evaporates with every movement. Imagine how different your day would feel if you started it with a burst of energy, your mind sharp, your thoughts organized, and your confidence soaring. That's the power of physical exercise. The Stoics believed in living in accordance with nature, and physical activity is one of the best ways to align yourself with what your body and mind need. 2. Exercise gives you control. One of the central tenets of Stoic philosophy is the concept of control. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to focus on what was within his control and to let go of what wasn't. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Exercise is a perfect example of something you can control. When you step into your workout, whether it's stretching, lifting weights, or a quick run, you're taking full control of your physical state. And that act of control ripples through your mental state as well. By committing to regular exercise, you're strengthening both your body and your mind, which gives you the confidence to tackle challenges head-on. But here's the catch: this doesn't mean you need to push yourself to the limit every single time. The Stoics weren't about pushing themselves recklessly, they were about balance and moderation. Do not grieve over the past, for it is gone. Do not waste time on things outside of your control, said Epictetus. Find a routine that works for you, something sustainable. Even a short daily exercise routine can help you regain control over your mind, providing clarity and peace. 3. A strong body supports a strong mind. As you strengthen your body through exercise, you're also building a strong foundation for your mind. It's a beautiful cycle. The more physically active you are, the more energy you have, which then feeds your focus, productivity, and mental clarity. Let's be real, when you feel physically sluggish or out of shape, it's hard to have a clear head. Your mind feels foggy, and even the simplest tasks seem overwhelming. On the other hand, when you're in good physical condition, you're more resilient. You can take on mental challenges with more confidence, tackle obstacles without hesitation, and stay focused longer. The body and mind work together. As you engage in regular exercise, you create a healthy feedback loop that supports both your physical and mental well-being. 4. Exercise teaches patience and discipline. This is where the Stoics truly shine. They understood that self-discipline is not just about willpower, it's about creating habits that serve your greater purpose. Exercise, especially when it's consistent, requires patience and discipline. You won't see results overnight. But that's the beauty of it. As you persist, you build resilience, not just in your body but in your mind as well. Every workout is a small victory. Each time you push yourself to keep going, you strengthen your ability to stay disciplined in other areas of life. This mindset is exactly what the Stoics taught us. In fact, Seneca, one of the most well-known Stoics, said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Exercise allows you to take full advantage of the time you have by sharpening your mind and body, ensuring that you're not wasting a single moment. 5. Build a sustainable routine. Building a physical exercise habit doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming. The key is consistency. Just like the Stoics practiced daily reflection, you should commit to a daily form of physical activity, something that fits into your schedule and feels rewarding. Start with something small. It doesn't have to be a marathon or a 2-hour gym session. Try setting aside 20 to 30 minutes a day. Walk, stretch, lift weights, or do yoga. The goal isn't to burn yourself out, it's to build a habit that becomes a natural part of your daily routine. And as you grow in discipline, you'll find that exercise becomes a cornerstone of your life, helping you stay mentally sharp and physically capable. 6. Reap the mental benefits. Exercise doesn't just clear your head in the moment. Over time, consistent physical activity has a profound impact on your brain's health. It increases blood flow to your brain, boosts cognitive function, and reduces the stress hormone cortisol. The result? You'll experience less anxiety, improved focus, and a greater ability to think clearly and make confident decisions. By engaging in physical exercise regularly, you're making an investment in your long-term mental clarity and well-being. You're setting yourself up for success, not just in your workouts but in every other area of life as well. Are you ready to embrace the power of exercise? Imagine how much more clear-headed, confident, and resilient you could be if you started today. As the Stoics would say, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Don't wait for the perfect moment to get started. Just take the first step. Start small, stay consistent, and watch how your body and mind transform. The journey to mental clarity begins with movement. Let's get moving. Emphasize adequate rest and recovery. Let's be honest for a moment, how often do you truly rest? Not just collapse on the couch after a busy day, but really, deeply rest, allowing your mind and body to recharge? If you're like most people, it's easy to overlook rest. We think productivity comes from working non-stop, pushing ourselves harder and harder. But here's the truth, without adequate rest and recovery, you'll never truly be able to think clearly or move forward with confidence. The Stoics understood something very important. To achieve clarity and focus, you must care for both your mind and your body. The ancient philosopher Seneca put it perfectly when he said, "It is not the lack of strength, but the lack of rest that will break you." If you're feeling foggy, scattered, or burnt out, the solution may not lie in doing more, it could be in resting properly. Rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity. We live in a world that celebrates hustle. We're told to grind harder, work longer, and never stop. But there's a huge cost to this mindset. You can't keep running on empty and expect to operate at your best. The Stoics didn't work tirelessly because they were obsessed with results, they did so with balance. "No man is free who is not master of himself," said Epictetus. This freedom comes not just from controlling our thoughts and actions but also from knowing when to rest and recover. If your mind is cluttered, if you're struggling with brain fog, it's a clear sign that your body and mind need time to recover. Without sufficient rest, you're doing more harm than good. When you're constantly running on empty, your thoughts become sluggish, your decision-making becomes clouded, and your focus gets scattered. You end up working against yourself instead of with yourself. Sleep, the pillar of clear thinking. It might sound too simple, but sleep is the foundation of mental clarity. Sleep allows your brain to clear out the clutter, process emotions, and consolidate memories. It's not just about resting your body, sleep is when your brain does some of its most important work. Without enough of it, you'll feel foggy, irritable, and mentally fatigued. The Stoics understood the importance of balance in life, and that includes rest. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality, and a lack of sleep often fuels the imaginary worries that make your mind race. When you're well rested, your ability to put things into perspective improves dramatically. You think more clearly, make better decisions, and face challenges with a sense of calm rather than overwhelm. If you've been running on a few hours of sleep, or if your rest has been restless, it's time to make sleep a priority. Start by setting a regular sleep schedule. Go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning. Create a routine that helps you unwind, turn off screens, dim the lights, and allow your body to naturally wind down. The power of short breaks. Rest doesn't always have to come in the form of a long sleep. Small, intentional breaks throughout the day can make a world of difference. It's easy to get caught up in work or other responsibilities and forget to take care of yourself. The Stoics weren't afraid to step back and reflect. Marcus Aurelius, for example, regularly took time out of his day to reflect and refocus, even in the midst of battle. This is something you can apply in your life right now. Schedule short breaks every few hours to step away from your work and refresh your mind. These breaks don't need to be long or complicated, just enough to give your brain a little reset. Take a walk, close your eyes for a few minutes, or do some light stretching. These short pauses can help you avoid mental fatigue and keep your mind sharp. Rest is not the same as escaping. Now, let's clear something up. Rest is not the same as mindlessly escaping into distractions. Watching TV, scrolling through social media, or endlessly browsing the web may feel like rest, but they don't truly restore you. In fact, they can leave you feeling more drained than before. True rest requires your mind to shift gears, to pause from constant input, and to reconnect with your inner self. The Stoics were masters of inner stillness. They understood that rest wasn't about escaping reality, it was about embracing simplicity and presence. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants, said Epictetus. If you want to truly recharge, reduce the noise. Limit your exposure to distractions and create moments of stillness where you can relax your mind and body without being constantly stimulated. The importance of recovery for your body. Your body needs recovery just as much as your mind. Physical fatigue directly impacts your mental clarity. If you're not taking care of your body, your mind will suffer. This could mean getting regular exercise, eating nourishing foods, or just allowing your body to rest when it needs it. The Stoics took a balanced approach to their physical health as well. They didn't advocate for overindulgence or extreme deprivation, they promoted moderation. Just like in other aspects of life, balance is key. Ensure you're getting the exercise, nutrition, and recovery your body needs to perform at its best. When your body is taken care of, your mind will be more focused, more clear, and more confident. Incorporating rest into your daily routine. The most important thing you can do for yourself is to make rest a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. Rest isn't something you do once in a while or only when you feel like you're about to burn out. It should be a regular practice. Start small. Set aside time each day to rest, whether it's through sleep, breaks, or moments of stillness. The key is consistency. The more you prioritize recovery, the clearer your thinking will become. You'll notice a shift in how you approach challenges and how confidently you can make decisions. Take action now. You have the power to reset your mental state today. Start by prioritizing sleep. If you're not getting 7 to 8 hours a night, make that your goal. Set a bedtime routine that prepares you for deep rest. Take small breaks throughout the day, step away from the distractions, and give yourself permission to relax. Your body and mind are craving recovery. Honor that need, and you'll find that your mental clarity and confidence skyrocket. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. By making rest and recovery a priority, you reclaim control over your mental and physical state. It's time to give yourself the rest you deserve. Take the first step today, and watch as your brain fog lifts and your confidence grows. Revisit and affirm core values regularly. When it comes to eliminating brain fog and learning to think clearly with confidence, there's one thing that can truly make a difference: revisiting and affirming your core values regularly. Sounds simple, right? But here's the thing, most people go through life without ever fully aligning their actions with their deepest beliefs. This creates mental confusion, because when you're not living in harmony with your values, your mind is constantly battling with itself. On the flip side, when you're clear on your core values and take the time to affirm them, your mind becomes sharper, your confidence grows, and that pesky brain fog starts to clear up. The Stoics were brilliant when it came to living by their values. They knew that to live a life of clarity and purpose, they had to constantly return to their inner compass, their values. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, would often reflect on what truly mattered to him, reminding himself of the importance of wisdom, justice, and virtue. This wasn't a one-time thing, it was a daily practice. And that's exactly what I'm suggesting you do: revisit your core values regularly, and affirm them in your own life. Now, you might be wondering, what are my core values? It's a great question, and one that you need to answer if you want to live a clear and confident life. Take a moment right now to think about what really matters to you. What are the principles that guide your decisions, your actions, and your relationships? These are your core values. They could be things like honesty, kindness, discipline, or growth. Whatever they are, they define who you are and how you show up in the world. The Stoics understood that values are not abstract concepts, they are the guiding forces of your daily life. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." In other words, you can't become the person you want to be without understanding the core values that will lead you there. If you value discipline, for example, then you'll make different choices than someone who values immediate gratification. If you value wisdom, you'll seek out learning opportunities, and you'll reject distractions that pull you away from growth. But here's where it gets really important: affirming those values regularly. It's not enough to simply identify your values once and then forget about them. If you do that, your mind will naturally wander, and you'll start to feel disconnected from your true purpose. Instead, make it a practice to revisit your core values every day. This could be as simple as taking a few moments in the morning to reflect on what's truly important to you. Write them down. Say them out loud. Let these values guide your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. When you affirm your values, you give your mind clarity. You create a clear path for your day, and you make decisions with confidence because you know what you stand for. When you don't affirm your values, your brain gets cluttered with doubts, distractions, and the pressure of trying to please everyone around you. But when you're rooted in your values, you become unshakable. Brain fog fades, and confidence rises. A powerful Stoic practice you can use here is daily reflection. Every evening, take 5 minutes to review your day. Ask yourself questions like, did I act in line with my core values today? Where did I get off track? What can I do tomorrow to be more aligned with my values? This reflection allows you to course correct before things get too messy. It helps you stay grounded and focused, knowing that your actions are aligned with what truly matters to you. If you're unsure where to start, I encourage you to focus on the 3 most important values in your life. What would make you feel most fulfilled if you lived in alignment with them? Start with those. Write them down somewhere you'll see them every day, on your desk, on your mirror, or on your phone. Make them your daily reminders. As you go about your day, keep these values in the back of your mind. Let them influence the choices you make. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to make decisions that align with your values. You'll start to feel more confident because your actions will be in line with who you truly are. And the brain fog? It'll disappear as you gain clarity and purpose. Remember, This isn't a one-time thing. This is a lifelong practice. The Stoics didn't just think about their values on rare occasions, they lived them every day. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." You don't want to waste your time living a life that isn't in alignment with your true self. Revisit and affirm your core values daily, and you'll begin to experience the mental clarity and confidence you've been looking for. So, let's put this into action. Today, take some time to reflect on your core values. Write them down, say them out loud, and let them be the foundation of your day. As you go through your daily routine, keep coming back to these values. When you do this consistently, you'll notice a profound shift. You'll feel more confident, more focused, and more aligned with your true purpose. You'll eliminate brain fog, and you'll start living the life you've always wanted. Cultivate self-awareness and reflection. If you've ever found yourself feeling mentally foggy, unsure of your next move, or scattered in your thoughts, it's likely because you've been running on autopilot, moving through life without stopping to check in with yourself. Here's the thing, the path to mental clarity and confidence begins within. And the first step is to cultivate self-awareness and reflection. The Stoics understood this deeply. They knew that without understanding your own mind, your thoughts, and your actions, you'll never be able to move through life with clarity or purpose. As Epictetus said, know, first, who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. To know who you are, you must be willing to look inward, without judgment, without distractions, just an honest evaluation of where you are, what you're thinking, and why you're thinking it. But how do you get there? How do you cultivate that kind of awareness, and how can you use it to clear the mental fog and start thinking more clearly? Let's break it down. 1. Practice daily reflection. The first step to becoming self-aware is taking time for daily reflection. Without this, it's easy to let the day pass by without ever truly stopping to consider what went well, what didn't, and why you feel the way you do. At the end of each day, carve out a few moments of quiet. This could be as simple as sitting in a chair with a cup of tea or lying in bed before you sleep. Ask yourself some basic, yet powerful questions. How did I feel today? What thoughts kept popping up? Was I present, or did my mind wander? This practice might feel strange at first, but it's incredibly powerful. When you reflect on your day, you bring your thoughts and emotions into your awareness. You start to notice patterns, things that trigger you, moments where you lost focus, times when you felt overwhelmed, and times when you felt confident and clear. This awareness is the first step to eliminating brain fog. Without reflection, you're just reacting to the world around you. With reflection, you're actively taking control of your mental landscape. 2. Ask yourself the tough questions. Self-awareness isn't just about knowing what happened during the day. It's about digging deeper into your emotions, your reactions, and the beliefs that guide your behavior. This is where things get a little uncomfortable, but it's also where the real growth happens. Ask yourself tough questions like, why did that situation trigger me? What beliefs am I holding onto that no longer serve me? Where am I avoiding responsibility, and how can I take more ownership of my actions? The Stoics knew the importance of self-inquiry. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In other words, the more aware you become of your own thoughts and reactions, the more you can control them. And the more you can control your mind, the clearer and more confident you'll become. This kind of questioning is not about criticizing yourself, it's about observing and understanding yourself without judgment. By asking these questions regularly, you create a space where you can grow, evolve, and free yourself from the mental clutter that causes confusion and self-doubt. 3. Journaling for clarity. One of the most effective ways to foster self-awareness is by keeping a journal. Writing down your thoughts and feelings every day allows you to slow down, clear your mind, and process what's going on inside. It's like having a conversation with yourself, one that helps you untangle the mess of thoughts, emotions, and experiences that create brain fog. Set aside some time each day to journal. Start by writing about how you're feeling, physically, emotionally, mentally. Explore the things that have been on your mind. What's making you feel stressed or overwhelmed? What's causing confusion in your life? Once you've written it all down, take a step back. Read it as an observer. What patterns do you see? Are there recurring thoughts or beliefs that keep you stuck? By writing out your feelings, you make them tangible, something you can look at objectively. And once you can look at them with clarity, you can begin to decide which thoughts are serving you and which ones you need to let go of. 4. Challenge your thoughts and beliefs. Self-awareness doesn't stop at simply noticing your thoughts. You have to challenge them too. We all have limiting beliefs or automatic thoughts that we carry around with us, but many of them are simply not true. The Stoics were masters at challenging their own beliefs. Epictetus wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your thoughts are just that, thoughts. They aren't facts. So, when you notice a thought that causes brain fog or confusion, like "I'm not good enough" or "this situation is impossible," challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought true? What evidence do I have for this belief? Challenging your thoughts is a powerful way to gain control over your mental state. It helps you separate yourself from the narrative in your head and view things from a more rational, clear perspective. When you see that many of your thoughts are either exaggerated or based on old beliefs, you can start to let go of them, and that is how you clear the fog. 5. Use mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness and meditation are powerful tools for developing self-awareness. These practices teach you to become more aware of your thoughts in the present moment, without becoming attached to them. They allow you to observe your mind in a non-judgmental way and, with practice, teach you how to let go of the thoughts that don't serve you. Start small. You don't need to meditate for an hour each day to experience the benefits. Even 5 to 10 minutes of mindfulness can create huge changes in your mental clarity. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and pay attention to your breath. When thoughts arise, and they will, simply notice them without judgment and gently bring your focus back to your breath. This simple practice teaches you to control your focus and clear the mental clutter that builds up. As you get better at mindfulness, you'll start noticing moments throughout the day when your mind is scattered or overwhelmed. You can then bring your awareness to those moments, pause, and reset. 6. Turn self-awareness into action. Self-awareness isn't just about noticing your thoughts, it's about taking action based on what you learn. When you reflect on your emotions, thoughts, and beliefs, the next step is to use that awareness to make positive changes. Ask yourself, what action can I take today to improve my clarity and confidence? Maybe you need to take a break, set better boundaries, or challenge a limiting belief. The key is not just reflecting, but using that reflection to guide your actions. This is where the power of self-awareness truly lies, when it leads you to make thoughtful, intentional changes in your life. You have the power to eliminate brain fog and think clearly, but it all starts with self-awareness and reflection. By taking time each day to check in with yourself, challenge your thoughts, and observe your mental landscape, you'll begin to clear the fog and step into your full potential. Remember the Stoic words of Seneca, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." By understanding your mind, you stop letting imagined worries cloud your judgment, and instead, you create the space for true clarity and confidence. So, are you ready to start? Take the first step today. Reflect. Observe. And let that awareness guide you to a clearer, more focused mind. Thank you for watching Eliminate Brain Fog and Learn to Think Clearly with Confidence Stoic Philosophy. Remember, clarity of mind is the foundation of effective decision-making and true confidence. Keep applying these Stoic principles, and watch how your mind transforms. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss new content from Modern Stoic. Stay clear, stay confident, and keep mastering your mind. I'll see you in the next one.